Today, I'm going to be fixing the rust on the doors of the 77 crew cab Ford. The rust on these back doors is pretty bad. It went right through, and these doors are pretty hard to find. You actually can't buy new rear doors for these trucks, just because how rare it is, I guess. So today we're gonna fix it, and by no means am I a body expert, but I think we can make it work. So check out the damage. So far all I've done is I ground down the rust where it was bubbling through, just with a flapper disc, and you can see that it is right through in this spot. Over here, not bad. Nothing's through. You can kind of just bondo that back up. And over here there was some as well. And it looks like this has been repaired before. Same with this spot. Looks like they welded in a patch. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start from the back side, and repair it from the back side, and then the front side will be the pretty side. So I'll flip it over. So this is what the back side looks like. So this was a side that didn't have too much damage, and it's pretty good shape over here. Not too bad on the bottom edge, but this is a spot where it was rusted right through. So my plan is I'm gonna take this piece of cardboard, it's pretty flexible. So I'm gonna tape it to the back side of this to get the shape. And then I'm gonna fill all of this, I'm gonna fill in with the fiberglass filler. So it'll be nice and strong, and it won't rust. And I've already cleaned this, and I sprayed it with a rust inhibitor. So that's gonna allow it to be like a primable surface, and it'll, for the most part, stop the rust from continuing, so it says. So we'll do that. I'm gonna put the cardboard on, tape it up, get the shape, and then we'll mix up some filler. Okay, so I got the cardboard on there in the general shape that I want the fill to match. So it'll kind of match the shape of what we're gonna call the pretty side. Now it's okay if it's not, exact, because once that dries, we'll flip it over and we'll shape the pretty side. So this is the stuff that I have. It's Bondo glass. So it's like Bondo with fiberglass in it, basically. Probably should be wearing gloves. Whew. Stuff stinks. It's probably too much. I'll try not to get it all over everything. Trying, not successful yet, but trying. So this is the hardener. A little extra. Why not? And we gotta mix this guy all up. Okay. Now let's slop it in there. Now, it doesn't much matter if it's not too pretty right now, because we can shape it all after. We just want to get the general shape right now. But don't want to put too much because we don't want to be shaping for days. I don't know if you can see, kind of right here, there's all the little fibers from the fiberglass. Okay, so that should be good. And we'll let it dry. And then we'll check it out once it's dry. Take the cardboard off. See what it looks like. All right, so it's dry. I peeled off the cardboard and I flipped it over. Check it out. So it's definitely high where it came through, and there's still a couple holes and stuff. So I'm going to grind it down, and then I'll do a little fill on this side, on the pretty side. Okay, so that's what it looks like now that's all ground down. You can see it's pretty level. But there's still, you know, a good difference from the height of the actual paint, so that'll be good for when I put the actual Bondo on to make it nice and smooth and look nice. So I'm gonna fill these holes here and try and just smooth this out just a little bit more with the fiberglass Bondo. Okay, so I've sanded it down and it's in the shape that we want. And I sanded this down to try and kind of give it a more gradual transition from here to down here. And so now kind of looks like shit, but gonna use some regular Bondo now, and yeah, trying to project this line across to here, because this is going to be low, so we can't just go from here to here. So we're trying to project this across and just do a whoop, a nice pass, make it look pretty, and then yeah, we'll sand it afterwards and everything. Okay, so this is all nice and dry now. So now we're just gonna sand it down and see how close it is to the regular paint. Okay, it's all sanded down. So you want to get basically a nice feathered edge between what you're trying to blend to and what you filled. So you don't want a hard line right here. You want it to be kind of a nice transition. And you can see that there's, like right here, there's still a couple little imperfections. So we're gonna use the spot putty, and it's a lot easier to work with. Can spread it really easily. So we'll put that on there to fill up just these little little imperfections. Then we'll put it along this edge to help feather better as well. Okay, the spot putty's on. Now just need to let it dry, and then we'll sand it. So I got a little carried away. Probably didn't shoot as much video as I should have, but I just, just started going and just didn't want to stop. So ended up putting the spot putty on the entire bottom rocker there, all the way across the bottom of the door, just to give it a nice smooth finish because it was kind of bumpy from the previous paint. And I'll show you that right now. Yeah, so that was the spot putty before I sanded it. And so I sanded it and I've primed it now. So this is what it looks like now. And it actually looks pretty nice. I don't know if you can see, but it's like super smooth. Turned out really good. You can't see any high spots, nothing out of the ordinary. But one thing I wanted to show you that I kind of realized that I didn't go through too much is the sandpaper. So when you use the Bondo glass, you want to have a pretty aggressive sandpaper to get that down. So that's where I used the 60. You could even do probably a 40 because that stuff's pretty hard, and so you need something aggressive to really break it down. And just, I don't know, I'm sure everyone knows, but just in case you didn't know, the lower the number, the more aggressive it is. So the more material you can take off. So use the 60, and that's good for the Bondo glass and roughing it up and stuff. So then once the Bondo glass is down, then you can use regular Bondo. That's where I don't know, you could use 60, but it's pretty scratchy. So you definitely need to fill those scratches with the spot putty after. But you could either use the 60 or you could start moving up. And so this is a 150. And a 150 would be good. It wouldn't be too scratchy. But you'd still be able to get material off. And so I would use that. And then once you put the spot putty on, you could use the 150 briefly just to break down any high spots. But then I would move to the 220. And 220, now it's starting to get a little bit soft, so it won't take off a lot of material, but it'll really start smoothing it out, and you'll start getting a really nice feel to it. And so then the 220 is good for roughing it up, enough for paint or like primer. And so for the primer, you use the primer, but the filler. So the filler primer says fills deep scratches and sands easily. So that's good for filling the scratches. As you can see, and right here, the scratches from the sandpaper. And that'll fill that up good. And then once you've sprayed it with primer, then you'd go to like a 320. So then it'll get really nice and soft. And then you're all ready for paint. So basically the store is all done. I just need to go over it with the 320 to get it nice and soft. And then we're ready to paint it when we paint the rest of the track. So hope that was a little bit informative. It's actually pretty easy stuff. Just need time. That's all you need. Okay, so there's this hole here that there was these couple pieces of wood covering. So yeah, I'm not sure what it's from. I don't know if this was manual gearbox before or something. Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, I'm gonna cover this up with a piece of steel, which I have right here. But there's this spot right here that I'm gonna have to kind of bend the sheet metal to fit this curve. So what I'm gonna do is, I already cut this basically to size. Now I'm gonna mark it where the bend starts, and then I'm gonna beat the crap out of it with a hammer to get it to fit. Because that's what you do when you need to get stuff to work. So head over to the bench and let's do it. So I had marked it out with this line and this line. You can see it. And then using a ball peen hammer, so it's round, so I get a nice round curve on it to match where we need to fit it to. I just keep banging it, kind of trying to round it. And I just have the vise open to let this bit settle through, but then the top bit to stay. And just looking at my lines here, there's one here and one here. Looks like I need to bend this spot just a little bit more. Okay. See that? Looks pretty good. Let's put it in and see. Hey, look at that. Fits pretty good. So it's a little bit warped, just a little bit, if you can see, rocking. But what I can do is I can tack it here, and then I could push this side in and tack it there, and that'll straighten it out. But hey, looks pretty good. Yeah! All right, it's tacked in. So I'm not gonna weld it completely, just because it's not necessary. I'll just use the seam sealer. It's like a caulking type for automotive to go over metal joints and stuff. So yeah, and I'll just seal that on the outside, and I'll seal it on the inside, and bada bing bada boom, it's done. So all we had to do was just beat the crap out of it with a hammer, and it worked. And I'm just using this junky little welder that is probably as old as I am, because for some reason I haven't brought any of my good welders to the shop, which makes no sense, but this is the only size welder that'll fit in the Fiat, so maybe that's why.